A perfect interplay of tires and suspension. Having the strength of controlling external forces. Overdo it and you get left behind. When I'm accelerating or braking, I relatively have little opportunity to control the forces impacting on the tires. I somehow gotta hold the thing steady in order to turn into the corner. Whenever I turn into a corner, I can ruin my tires fairly quickly. If I turn in 2 kilometers an hour faster than the forces pushes over the front tire, the temperature rises relatively quickly, and in next to no time I've destroyed it. So, what are the forces working on the tires and the suspension? Let's take a look at the physics. When the driver turns the wheel, massive motion means that the car rather goes straight on. This forces then pushes the car to the outside of the corner. Also impacting on the tires are circular forces. The quickly rotating wheel stays static within its axis, and bit like a spinning top, the wheel too doesn't want to alter its position, slows cornering and exerts forces to penetrate deeper into the vehicle.
You have the driver, you have the car, you have the suspension, you have the tire, you have the road. And at the end, so this performance is judged by the driver. So even if you have a very good tire on the car, if the driver doesn't like it, so the tire is not the one you want to have on this vehicle. So then absolutely there, we need to make sure that the tire will operate properly and as the driver likes to have it, to make sure the vehicle responds like the driver wants to get it operating.
Being racetrack or road, what's needed is lots of contact with the surface provided by a constant contact patch. Developers research and test those things under all weather conditions. A normal car tire going at increased speed has a somewhat smaller footprint, but with motor racing as an example, the car's momentum and aerodynamics really push the vehicle down to the track, and that naturally creates a much larger contact patch. In research and development, everything is done to naturally align the characteristics of the tire with those of the suspension. Like here at Dunlop, thermographs and powerful patented simulation software are used together to give the tire the contact tricks needed for perfect interplay. When the driver turns the wheel, forces not only float from the tire into the asphalt below, but the loads created also flow back into the chassis and need to be dissipated. If every component ideally aligns, the car literally sticks to the ground. If the limit is exceeded, the suspension gets overboard and the forces are wiggling the vehicle and physics take their toll. The accelerating mass gets almost uncontrollable. That's because another force needs to be dealt with. At every bump, a vertical joint occurs going into the suspension and from there into the chassis. Then everything comes together, sideways, lengthways, circular and vertical forces constantly changing. Extreme stress for the suspension and the tires. Only if all components work as one will the car handle predictably well at its limit. In racing, that makes the difference between spinning off and winning.